All right, Cameron is asking, is there any historical significance to a Brian Boru jacket, or is that a quasi-official Irish thing a la County Tartans?
Interesting you ask. There's actually a pretty cool story.
He's not wrong. I think he's correct. That's a modern thing, but go ahead.
Yeah. The Brian Boru jacket. Here's the 2-minute version. Basically, there's a jacket manufacturer over in Scotland, and they wanted to update the Prince Charlie jacket for a more modern age. So they designed what's now known as the Brian Boru. They basically took the Prince Charlie, kept the tails, but softened the edges and gave it a shawl collar, and had the button chain closure across the front, updated the cuffs to an Argyle-ish style cuff, just something to bring the Prince Charlie kicking and screaming from the 1950s into the 1990s. So the manufacturer, the tailor, went to a bunch of the kilt rental companies in Scotland and said, hey, we updated the Prince Charlie. What do you think? And he would send them a sample. And a lot of the companies were like, oh, this is really, really cool. That's a great job. We really like it. And then he said, great, how many can I put you down for? And they said, none, because we already have an entire fleet of Prince Charlies, and these are different. So they didn't want to change over their rental fleet. So basically what it boiled down to was he said, all right, well, I don't want to just scrap this because it is a good looking jacket. It's a nice style. So he didn't want to just say, okay, fine, and throw it out. So he just said, okay, well, that was around the same time when the Irish tartans came out, and he said, all right, well, I can give it Irish buttons, harp buttons, and I'll give it the name Brian Boru. And at the same time, he came out with what's called the Kilkenny jacket, which is effectively a different slant on the Argyle jacket. So you have the formal and semi-formal Scottish jackets and formal and semi-formal Irish jackets. It was kind of just invented out of thin air, but at the same time, it's a really cool looking style.
And frankly, the Prince Charlie was kind of invented out of thin air.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I mean, it's a throwback to, it's an homage to late 18th century, early 19th century coatees, the Prince Charlie is. But they jazzed it up for the 1920s. They put on what was at that time the popular style of jacket lapel. So your buddy was doing exactly the same thing with what he did. So it's modern, yes. It actually, though, has a more timeless look, in my opinion, to the PC because it doesn't have those pointy lapels on it.
Yeah.
It actually, the shawl collar has a much older tradition than pointed lapels do. So I like it. I actually like it better than a PC.
Yeah.
In terms of formal wear, it occupies the same space.
And the PC came out of the regulation doublet, I believe.
The regulation doublet came out just a few years before it.
Yeah, they took
around
the
the turn of the
regulation.
century.
Yeah, the regulation doublet looks like a Prince Charlie, but they cut the flaps. There's flaps on the front and on the sides and in the back. The Prince Charlie just basically cut all those off except for the two in the back to make them tails.
Right. Yeah. And that style is called a coatee, and that was a standard uniform piece going back to like the Napoleonic age.
Yeah,
Napoleonic age. Yeah.
And coatee meaning shorter in the front and sides versus a jacket, which is longer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Exactly. And now you know. And knowing's half the battle.
Yep. And obviously, you need both. You need a PC and a Brian Boru to make sure you have a complete collection.
Well, as well as a Kilkenny.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't want to go to a semi-formal event.
And a Sheriff Muir.
And then tweed for day wear.
Yes,
exactly.
Yep.
And vests to go with all of them, of course.
Of course. Absolutely.
Very good.
Any more, Mac?